So I was always pretty healthy and exercised a lot, but I really did not eat clean foods. And America is certainly in crisis, and I know we're going to probably have a chance to talk about that in a little bit, but it was about that time I realized that, number one, doctors know nothing about nutrition, yet we give you advice. You've seen doctors who smoke, you've seen doctors who are overweight. I mean, you know, it is what it is. And you've seen doctors who don't exercise, don't get enough sleep. It's the rest. We're just like the rest of America, yet we're giving you advice. And we know nothing about nutrition. I went to the University of Michigan undergraduate school of Public Health and Human Nutrition, and I went on from there to medical school at the University of Michigan. And guess how many hours of lectures in the 4 years that we received on human nutrition? Anybody know? Zero is a very good guess. It's wrong, a little bit more. We had 3 one-hour lectures on human nutrition in 4 years. And here we are giving you advice about what to do. You know, my chiropractic friends, and we now employ them in my health system, you know, have 6 weeks officially of training, which is significantly more than us, and many of them go on to learn even more. And so there's people who know so much more about nutrition. And I realized that, you know, Hippocrates got it right. Let thy food be thy medicine, let thy medicine be thy food. And you have to put the right fuels in your body to be healthy. And it was really at that time that I started to come along and do this. And now I work for a health system, you know, so I started making supplements at the time. It was really the creation of the BiPAP. We got patents and things of that nature at the time. We had professional athletes using them. And then the health system that I work for, we have a very large Center for Integrative Medicine. I'm the medical director of wellness. It's a $5.2 billion a year health system. Prevention and wellness makes up 1/4 of our budget. So, you know, I'm responsible for over $1 billion of our budget, which is related to prevention and wellness. We just had a Harvard Medical School out 2 days ago with the Samueli Institute, looking at ways to look at prevention and wellness, looking at body, mind, and spirit. We have the very first, it was just opened about 3 months ago, organic certified hydroponic greenhouse. We feed our employees in the hospital and our patients greenery made in our organic greenhouse. And so very passionate about doing those things. And yes, I still see patients. I operated all day Thursday. I saw patients on Monday. I'm in my lab on Wednesday, and so I'm still very actively involved in patient care, but my role as the medical director of wellness allows me to integrate that. My role with Visalus, which I'm obviously very excited about, has been to get the word out in ways like you saw here that we just heard from these 2 lovely ladies about how you can positively impact your health through appropriate tools, and Visalus allows us to do that. So I've come full circle of all of these things, and I live it, and I breathe it, and I believe it.
Well, I think that's what makes it so exciting for us to be able to follow an individual like you, is because you're the whole package. You talk and you walk the talk.
Thank you.
Right? So, as I'm sure you know, we've declared an all-out war on obesity, right? In your professional opinion, how badly do you believe this epidemic actually is?
Oh my God. Well, I mean, you saw the numbers, you saw the picture. Some of the work that I do with the CDC and the NIH, National Institutes of Health and Center for Disease Control, and some of the work that I do in Washington, D.C., it is all about this. And so we know that roughly 1/3 of the people in America are overweight. 60%, or actually 1/3 are obese now, and like 60% are overweight. The numbers are staggering. What you may not know, and this is work that we've done with the CDC, is roughly 2/3 to 3/4 of most of our medical problems, of most of our spending, $2.2 trillion last year, $2.7 trillion this year, we call health care. It's not health care, it's sick care. Right? We're taking care of you after the fact. It is a huge problem. So 2/3 to 3/4 of our medical problems are largely caused by our lifestyle choices. Hey, I'm guilty as well. Pizza, nacho cheese, Doritos, and Coca-Cola. I mean, that goes back 100 years, you know, when I was in college. But we have a big problem. It is an epidemic. It is ginormous. No, that's not a medical term, but really emphasize that. It is a huge problem, and we can fix it. We can fix it one person at a time, and that's another reason that I'm very happy to be here with people who are really willing to spread the mission. So it's really funny because when Nick, Blake, and Ryan came to me and asked me if I was interested in being the director of product development for Visalus Sciences, I said no. This was in about 2003 or 4. I said, no, I'm not interested. And they said, well, why not? And I said, because I didn't understand the marketing aspects of this, and I didn't understand how it went. And my next door neighbor was in network marketing, and every 6 weeks we'd come up with a new product and say, Michael, look at this super blue-green algae, look how good I feel. She's about 5 feet tall and about 300 pounds. And then 6 weeks later, she'd come up with a new product. And so that's what I thought about this. And I said no to them. And then they came back a little while later and they said, well, you know, why? And I kind of told them the story. And they said, well, what if you could help us develop products? What if you could talk about the science? What if you could do that? And I said, sign me up. And then I never looked back. And then I've seen people, or I hear stories from each and every one of you. People come up and say, you know, my joints used to hurt. I started taking the Vipack, my joint pain's gone. I started losing weight. People were telling me they were losing weight on the Vipack alone before we came out with weight loss products. And there are reasons for that. The omega oils are critical. The chromium is critical. The alpha lipoic acid and the anti-age energy formula is critical. So these things really help you with weight loss. And obviously, we came out with a team, and we have Audrey Sommerfeld, and we have Steve Witherly, who I always call kind of the mad scientist, you know, and together we develop products and we go back and forth, and I guess I get to be the governor of these products, and I'm just so excited with what we had come out to try to fight this epidemic called obesity, which is leading to most of our other medical problems. If we could eliminate this, we could have a dramatic impact on the health of our friends and our family, and on the health of our nation. We are in crisis. You know, we have such huge problems with this, and it's such an opportunity to intervene. And to me, that's what Visalus is all about, is making the world a healthier place.
I like that, an opportunity to intervene. That's very, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Tell us why you believe the challenge, is powered by the Visalus products, obviously, is making such an impact on people's lives, and what makes us so different than all the other companies out there?
Wow, that's a lot of questions wrapped up in one. But so it's fascinating. So one of the things, you know, I was talking to the guys from Harvard Medical School and Samuel, which talks about the mind and spiritual aspects of things. There's so much in medicine that we don't fully understand. We don't understand how things work. So, for example, I have a talk. I've given probably 600 or 700 scientific talks. One of them is on the power of prayer, it's a really interesting thing because typical MDs, I'm an allopathic MD physician, don't believe, and I mean, we don't know what they believe on when they're not in the hospital operating or giving out drugs, but you know, we don't talk about that. So there's a whole story, and there's probably about 20 different randomized, placebo-controlled studies on the power of prayer. It matters not what you believe, it matters that you believe. It matters your outlook and things of that nature. We just don't take that into consideration in medicine. And so, you know, it's really hard to go things alone, to do it alone. And so when this company first started, this was the size of the company, or maybe it was like half of this. And now if you've ever been to NSP, or if you've ever been to the main Vitality events, there are 25,000 people. 25,000 people just like you out there, really motivated and having this opportunity. And so it's a lot easier if I'm going to say, hey, do you want to go work out today? And no, I'm not really feeling like work out. And she calls me a wimp and says, we're going to work out. And you go work out. Or, you know, let's lose 5 pounds together. Let's lose 10 pounds, you know. And Ryan has said to me, doesn't the first 10 pounds matter? It really energizes you. And it's really helpful. That first 10 pounds matters. Now, obviously 10 pounds in somebody who weighs 180 and wants to be 170 is very different than somebody who weighs 400 and goes down to 390. But it's the first step. Put that one step in front of the other. Coming back full circle to the challenge, it's a lot easier to get motivated to do something if you have a friend or a group of friends working on this challenge together. It's very powerful, it's very motivational, and it's very helpful. It's realizing the power of the body, it's realizing the power of the mind, it's realizing the power of a little nudge. Come on, let's go work out. Come on, let's go take that shake and let's skip breakfast. We're going to do the shake instead, and we'll meet up for a healthy lunch later today or something.
I think that's fantastic, and that's what we can do as a community, guys, is fight together with people on our side, like Dr. Seidman, who's doing all the work in the background, and we just go out and share it with the world, right?
You asked one of the questions, she said, why are we different and why are we better than everybody else? And you know, there's a lot of good companies out there selling, in my opinion, good products. You know, I was asked, oh, you know, what's bad about Herbalife? What's bad about Noni? What's bad about... And my answer is there's nothing really bad about them in my mind. I just think that we're better. Now, let me tell you why I think we're better. So, you know, I won't make something that isn't 10 to 20 times better than something that already exists. So I was asked to help with an arthritis product, and I have up here something that I think is significantly better. So with the ViPack, for example, we have a patent on the anti-age energy formula. It's a very exciting patent. I was actually just doing proofs right now. I'm still a scientist. I'm writing a paper about extracts of red wine, resveratrol, and aging. We looked at bioinflammation. So we have lots of studies. We have lots of data. It's not just my white papers. There's probably 1,000 papers, white papers, that talk about the science behind these types of products. And most companies don't really have much, if any, science. We have an awful lot of science. Our products are all made in an FDA-inspected laboratory, which makes them more expensive, but means that when a vat of ginkgo biloba or a vat of all-natural vitamin E comes in, it gets sent out by the company to a third-party independent laboratory to verify that the ginkgo biloba is indeed standardized for 24% ginkgo flavones and 6% terpenes. That the ginseng is actually standardized for 0.3% ginsenosides, which are the active ingredient in this. So it gets sent out to a third-party lab, the product gets made, and then once the product's made, the FDA allows certain guidelines. The product gets sent out to another third party to verify that what is in those pills is actually in those pills. Most people don't do that. We molecularly distill our fish oil. So unfortunately, we are dumping mercury, PCB, lead into our waters, into our streams. It gets into our fish, and you eat fish. And I mean, I like sushi. I'm sure a lot of people here like sushi. Be careful of your mercury levels. You got to know where it's coming from. And the fish are giving it to us because we're dumping it into our waters. So we molecularly distill our fish oils. Most people don't do that. We not only give you fish oils, but we give you evening primrose oil, flaxseed oil, pumpkin seed oil, and phosphatidylcholine and phosphatidylserine, which is in the cell of your body. So you heard about the minerals are chelated. Most people don't do that. That adds expense, but it means that you actually absorb it. It's attached to an amino acid, so you actually draw that into your cells. So we FDA inspected, GMP certified, patented formulations, lots of science, molecularly distilled oils. We've done the exact same thing with the Vi shakes, with all the ingredients inside, with the Go and the Pro, and just an awful lot of testing to make sure that, number one, it's crazy effective, number two, that it's crazy safe, and number three, that any claims that we make are legal. We want to be very careful about that as well. So I just think we have the best and the brightest, and we have some. To me, it's really all about smart people like you who may or may not be skeptical about these kinds of things. But I think there's an awful lot of science, an awful lot of thought that has gone into this, and I think we've just created the best products on the planet, and we've helped people lose millions of pounds.
Definitely could not agree more. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the same mission, the same vision as Dr. Seidman does. We want to help a lot of people, and we want to change the obesity epidemic that is out there. Please show a lot of love to Dr. Seidman. Thank you so much for coming.